Hey everyone, so I thought I'd do a video outside by the sea, which is just up the road from me. So I'm not sure how it's going to turn out, but hopefully it turns out okay. So first I thought I'd do geranium. So geranium for me, and the interesting thing is I don't always need to be taking in the scent. I will start getting messages even if I'm not inhaling the scent, and I could feel geranium the other day when I was out and I was on the bus because I've been busing lately, and I could see geranium growing from on the sidewalk, growing through like growing through fences and cracks around pavements, and to me straight away I was like, she's just absolutely resilient. Like, geranium is resilient, and the more I tuned into her, I could feel she's actually very edgy. And it makes me laugh because I used to work in a garden centre, and there would come a time in spring where all the geraniums would come in, and I'm trying to be mindful of the sun here, and everyone would say, oh, they're flowers for, they're plants for old ladies. And there could be some truth in that, because it's a sturdy plant, and it's an easy plant to grow. It's very resilient, it's very low maintenance, as long as you don't overwater her. She's not fussy. So for me, I was like, she felt like when you would get to a certain age in life, particularly an elderly woman, and you feel like, you know what, I've always wanted to have a piercing done, I've always wanted a tattoo, I've always wanted to dye my hair a certain colour, but I've always been afraid of what everybody else will say or what everyone else will think. And for me, when I tuned into her, I was like, she's really edgy. She's saying, who cares? I'll do what I want, I've got to a certain age in my life where I will live the way that I want to live. And if it's something that I've always wanted to do, then I'm going to do it. So yeah, that was her essence. And I might have to, I'm not sure if I'll have to stop this recording, because obviously I'm out in public and there'll be people walking around, which is fine. So that was the essence that I could feel, was very edgy, and didn't really care what anybody else would think. And I guess you do get to a certain age in your life where it's not about doing things really to please other people. If there's certain things that you've wanted to do but have always put it off because you've been afraid of what everybody will think, your family, your friends, you know what, do it. And that's what the message was from geranium. She's edgy, she's resilient, she doesn't care, and she is at a place, or help you if you're in a place of wanting to step out of your comfort zone, be a bit edgy. And in the picture I kept getting, and it was really funny, was it was like an older lady putting on a leather jacket and being, kind of like that rock, edgy kind of vibe. And I was like, that's so cool. And I'm thinking, well, it makes sense if you look at the environment that geranium grows in. She's low maintenance. She doesn't need a lot of fuss and care. She doesn't like to be overwatered. She'll dry, and she'll grow in soils that are drier and not as much fuss. And she's kind of like, hey, just leave me alone. Like, I know what I'm doing. And that's what she feels like to me. So I'm sorry, the sun is like getting a little bit crazy here. Not really. But anyway, so that's what she felt like. Geranium, edgy, resilient. She's going to do what she does. She doesn't care, which is just absolutely amazing. And the second one that I'll do is sandalwood. So sandalwood for me, sandalwood actually hits me pretty, not hard, but with sandalwood, he makes me feel emotional, because for me, sandalwood is like a lover, and it would be like what you would want in when two people meet who are destined to be together, who are one with each other, and they share such a love and such a deep bond that it spans all time and space, and that's probably why it makes me emotional. So I could feel him this morning, and I was like, oh no, you're making me feel emotional. And it was like being in the throes of love, and yes, there's passion, but it's more a deep connection of love and lovers, and sharing this true love bond that is old, that is ancient, that is knowing, like it's that soul recognition kind of love of two souls that know each other, maybe before even words are spoken, that kind of love. And I could feel him, and I was like, oh, you're making me feel emotional. And then I was reminded of a time when I was in training and I was massaging, and I remember feeling sandalwood, and when I go to it, it stirs up my emotions. And to me, it felt like I could feel, and if you know Bible history or biblical stuff, I could feel King Solomon. And I could feel that when I took in I remember when I did this massage and I could smell the sandalwood, I felt like I was being taken back to a time where it was quite prevalent, and it felt like it had an association with King Solomon. And so for me, that to me is just like this beautiful love, because there was a beautiful love story with him and Queen Sheba. And when I go to it, all I can see is like, you know, like you have the bed with the four posts. You have the bed with the four posts. There's all this white, like there's lots of white, and it's all soft, and there's like these white sheets, and like it's just like this love that's just like undying, an undying kind of love. And I could feel it, and I could feel it this morning, and I thought, well, that's what we all crave, that we want to experience that, we want to feel that. And I was like, why is this making me so emotional? And for me, I guess for me, I know that in other lifetimes, and I know that my soul has experienced great love and true love in other lifetimes. And so that's something that every person really, I would say, wants to experience. And so I was thinking, well, it's interesting, isn't it, that we crave a true love, we crave to have that experience, and yet for the most part we have to find it within ourselves. And for some of us, it's been a longer road to get to that point where we can feel that real essence of love, that real true love that we are. Because at the end of the day, if you don't know that true love, and you don't know your love, which is your true love, then how will you know it in another, or how will you feel it in another? How will you recognize it in another soul? So it's, yeah, but he's beautiful. Like sandalwood, I'm like, yeah, that's just, there's just, I don't really want to use the word passion, because, well, I guess there's passion there, but it's not lust. It's like pure. It's pure love, pure lovers. They're lovers. He's a lover, and the connection is between two. It feels like two lovers. And for me, King Solomon is, I know that I had an experience with that years ago when my son had passed, and a few months, maybe a month after he'd passed, I had this beautiful dream. And in this dream, I had a man appear behind me, and he was holding on to me around the stomach, like really holding me really tight. And I kept looking at him, and I kept feeling like I knew who he was, because he had this golden, everything about him was golden. He had a crown, he had like, his hair was like, had this golden essence to it, like I could see it, but I could tell by his nose I could see by his nose that he was quite, like, he was ethnic, like, honestly. And I kept looking at him, and I kept saying who I was, and he kept saying to me, I know who you are. And I was saying, I'm Lisa, blah, blah. He was like, I know who you are. And he kept saying, I know you better than anyone else. And then he pulled me in so tight around my stomach that he was pulling me in, and then that was it. I was gone. And then I woke up, and I had the warmest feeling after that, and I talked to a friend about it, and I said to her, this is what it felt like. And she said, who was it? And I said, it felt like, because you start to think, am I crazy? And then she said, yes, it was. She said he'd come in to give you lots of healing. So yeah, so that's my experience with King Solomon and Sandalwood. True love, beautiful, pure love, and just beautiful. Okay, thank you.